So, doctor, you want to get an MBA? Here's how to get started. My name is Dr. Roger Tomihama. I am an Associate Professor of Interventional Radiology at Loma Linda University Medical Center. I have been accepted to the MBA program for executives at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania starting summer of 2022. So why am I doing this? So why am I putting together these videos? I have just gone through the entire process of applying for an MBA as a full-time practicing physician. What I realized is that while the information is out there, this is lack of dedicated centralized source of this key information that will be helpful for physicians interested in learning more about getting an executive MBA. The information is out there. However, it is somewhat non-centralized and somewhat disorganized. My goal is to save you countless hours of research that I did in learning about this process and condense it down to a series of short, high-yield, informative YouTube videos. So I feel there are three great areas of resources that can be helpful for any doctor interested in learning more about the executive MBA process. The first is current MDs with MBAs or general MBAs that you know. The second are websites including things like GMAT Club or Poets and Quants. The third is actually just YouTube. Before I get started in explaining the resources, I want to just give you a little bit of background information on the general concepts of business schools and business careers. It's important to understand the philosophy of how business school variables factor into careers as business. Understand this, you can then plan your career goals to align with your MBA education goals. This will help streamline and focus down the application process for you. The first thing to understand is the admission process for business school is somewhat different than the typical medical school admission process that we're all kind of familiar with. In the medical education process, it's somewhat stepwise, somewhat algorithmic process for everyone, no matter what school they go to. They get into medical school, they go to a residency program, they get a fellowship, and then they get a job. Essentially, once you get into medical school, you kind of are pretty much set. For most graduates, you can, essentially choose whatever specialty you want to go into. Even the most competitive residencies out there, such as dermatology, radiation oncology, interventional radiology. But you can kind of, for the most part, if you do decently, you can find a way to get into a specialty program you want. It may not be the most prestigious residency program out there, but if you want to do dermatology, there is a program out for you somewhere. Once you finish your training, you eventually can get a job as a dermatologist. There may be things you may have to sacrifice regarding the job that you eventually take, i.e. location, maybe pay, job satisfaction. However, for the most part, if you want to practice a specialty, you can pretty much find a job that will allow you to do that. Business careers, however, I think are a lot less predictable. Business school, I think for the business professionals, only the first step. Most business professionals seem to take a lot of different paths, whether they go and start their own businesses or they work for some large corporation. And even within those, they can change industries and do a lot of different things to eventually get to their achieved goal. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go over some of the three best resources of information for getting started with how to go about getting an executive MBA. Resource number one, people that you know who have MBAs. I'm sure a lot of you have built up many contacts over the years and know a lot of people who have an MD/MBA or who are just general MBAs and who are out there. And these are great people to pick their brain about and get their opinions on how to proceed with this whole process. So first, the general MBA. Most of these are the true business professionals that we kind of think of. They've usually gone through the typical traditional full-time MBA education process, or they've done the part-time or evening and weekend program. They usually went to business school in their late 20s, maybe early 30s, after a couple years of work, and now are in some aspect of some corporation or have their own company and so on and so forth. What these individuals, although they may not have specifics on how an MBA can benefit a healthcare professional, such as for a doctor, they do have a lot of important perspective about the business school admissions process, business school culture in general, and how an MBA can help you in the future with, achieving some goal that you may have. Another great resource of people that you may know are people with obviously the MDs and the MBAs, someone that you are probably, a goal that you yourself are probably trying to achieve. And these people will either have gone through two tracks. First, they would have either gone through the dual degree program where they got their MBA at the same time when they got their MD, or the others would be executives or part-time MBAs who eventually got their MBA after being in practice for a number of years. Obviously, these individuals will have probably the best source of information to help you figure out how a business education can help you achieve your goals. There is a nice podcast that I found where it talks about non-clinical career opportunities for physicians. I'll put the link below. It basically talks about different opportunities for career paths that doctors can go if they want to transition away from clinical medicine in its entirety. So what did I do, and maybe what I recommend you do is, just go and find everyone you know and ask them what they think. Ask them why they went and got an MBA to begin with. What was the rationale? What did they think would it help them achieve their goals? To why they chose the specific program they went to. There may be some pros and cons, and certain programs have slightly more stronger strengths than other programs. I asked them what they found helpful from their MBA education experience, what they found not so helpful about the MBA education experience, and what they would do differently. If there's anything they would do differently as far as the way they proceeded with their education. Okay, resource number 2, websites. As all of you probably well versed, Google is the best as far as finding anything you want to know about anything. I think it's the same thing with learning about getting an executive MBA. I think one great website I found was GMAT Club. I'll put the link below. It's basically a great overall website that has everything you need to know about the MBA admissions process, MBA programs. It is all inclusive. It is basically, they give reviews about everything from programs to test prep courses to MBA admission consultants, and so on and so forth. The majority of content, however, is geared towards the full-time MBA applicant. So maybe not as pertinent for the executive MBAs. However, there is a section dedicated for executive MBAs or part-time MBAs, which is good. They have decent information. The website is mostly a forum-based website with chats and other things, but there are some hybrid pages that have forums/articles and things you can download for your own information. Another great website I found was Poets and Quants. I'll put the link below. Again, similar to gmatclub.com, a very excellent site that gives you all you need to know about business school in general, from profiles of different programs, some articles about the business education process, and also rankings and so on. Again, the main website is tailored for the full-time MBA applicant. However, there is a parallel website they have called Poets and Quants for Executives, which goes over, it's specifically for the executive MBA applicant. The content is decent. It's not as robust as the main website, but there's a lot of great information out there that you can get. The third great website resource of information I found was actually the programs itself. In addition to describing the type of curriculum, the admission requirements, and the calendar and so on and so forth, the programs actually provide a lot of links to videos about the application process, what you can expect from the executive MBA experience. They have a lot of testimonials from former students. There's a lot of great information, and a lot of different schools have great information on their website. I think what you can do is, if you have an idea of which programs you may want to go to or what locations you might want to be in, go to those program websites, see what they have to say. You will get a lot of information about those programs specifically. Third great resource I found for learning about the business school admissions process or business school education process was YouTube itself. There's a lot of great content with people talking about their perspectives of people who have gone through the programs, or experts giving their opinions about the admissions process and programs in general. One of the channels that I thought was most helpful was actually the GMAT Club channel, YouTube channel. They have a lot of great videos and content that exists regarding test prep, admissions process, MBA experiences, and so on and so forth. The content, again, is really more tailored toward the full-time MBA applicant. However, there is still a lot of good content for executive MBA. You just gotta search for it on the website. All the GMAT Club speakers are great for general information and understanding the culture of business school and business in general. I found two speakers that were helpful for me when I was going through researching the process. The first is Dr. Shell Watts. She pretty much exclusively puts content mainly focused on the executive MBA admissions process, and it's great. She actually runs a company that is a consultant for people wanting to get into business school or executive MBA programs. She does a great job in providing content that describes general information about the application process in general. She does compare and contrasts of certain schools. She also gives you information on like what to do, what not to do. A really great resource to understand the admission process for executive MBA. The second speaker that I thought was most helpful is Maria Wick-Villa. She is the owner and president of Applicant Lab, which is also another MBA admissions consultant business, and she has a lot of great tips on the admissions process in general. It's more what she talks about is mostly tailored for the full-time regular MBA applicant. However, what I found helpful was she's just a great, awesome speaker with great insight regarding the admissions process, but she also gives a lot of information about business school culture and what her business school experience was. She actually went to Harvard Business School and has been doing the MBA admissions consulting for many, many years, and I just found her a very great speaker to listen to. Okay, well, that concludes this video. Again, thanks for watching this video. Again, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more upcoming great content on MBAs or business school for the physician.